And security preparations are underway in New Orleans ahead of President Trump's attendance at the Super Bowl. Trump will become the first sitting president to appear at the big game. ABC News Justice and Homeland Security reporter Luke Barr is in New Orleans with more on that. Luke, I can't even imagine. How do you secure a president in a venue like this?
Well, Diane, the Super Bowl was already going to be secure, perhaps the most secure Super Bowl in U.S. history. But now, of course, the President of the United States is coming, and that brings a whole nother layer of security with it. I'm told by the special agent in charge of the Homeland Security investigations, which is sort of leading the federal coordinated effort, that they're securing this game by land, air, and sea. I'm talking extra tactical teams, extra sort of canines that are bomb-sniffing dogs. This is what's called the Tier 1 event, Diane, which means it gets the highest level of federal coordination from the federal government to make sure that this game is secure.
And Luke, the Super Bowl comes a month after the New Year's Day terror attack on Bourbon Street. So beyond the usual, because this is always going to be an event that draws more security preparations, how is that affecting the precautions they're taking, and how is it in the city right now ahead of this?
Well, the special agent in charge told me that there is going to be a massive law enforcement. You can just kind of see it walking down Bourbon Street. This is the convention center here where the Super Bowl experience is happening. The security is definitely ramped up. There's 2,500 federal, state, local law enforcement that are here protecting the Super Bowl, protecting all of the teams, all the fans, etc. And the message that that the special agent in charge told me that he wants people to feel safe, secure, but they definitely had to rejigger their plans after the January 1st terrorist attack, which happened just down the street on Bourbon Street. So they changed those plans. They made sure that they were foolproof and that people feel safe, secure. And also, he told me that if people want to see something and say something, that is the best way to protect these games.
All right, ABC News Justice and Homeland Security reporter Luke Barr, thank you.
This is the Nation's Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. Donald Trump will be the first president to ever attend a Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday. And I want to cover this for multiple reasons. Most of you have probably seen my previous videos talking about the predictive programming of potential terror events occurring at Super Bowls. It's important to pay attention to that, and it's important to pay attention to some of the other narratives that are out there with Donald Trump. And of course, we can look no further than the fake assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that something is definitely going to happen. I'm not making a prediction. I'm showing you the repetition and the programming that has told us of a potential event potentially occurring at a Super Bowl, because there's lots of movies with predictive programming showing us this. And I also want to show you the narratives that will tie into the stuff going on with Gaza and the Gaza Strip that is getting fed to us right now. They feed us this stuff to condition us, not to inform us. So think about this. In a year where Donald Trump supposedly had 2 assassination attempts on his life, Donald Trump, after even the event that occurred in New Orleans on New Year's Day, will be going to the Super Bowl, and he'll be the very first president to ever do so. So, of course, naturally, we have the Secret Service and all the other agencies involved in making sure that it's safe for Donald Trump to go. They put all these articles out about New Orleans ramping up security as 120,000 visitors have descended on the city for the Super Bowl just weeks after the terror attack occurred. And Donald Trump's Gaza comments. Listen, this is an article from NBC. Trump's Gaza comments hand jihadist terrorists a rallying cry. This kind of language only is going to galvanize groups that want to kill Americans. And remember, any attack on American soil is from America themselves. Jihadists, all of these militia groups, these terrorist groups, are all funded by the same people. And guess what? The same people are in your government, the United States of America. So there could potentially be a false flag. There could potentially be something like another fake assassination attempt on Donald Trump. We would just do what? Just garner Donald Trump more and more support. Think about the narrative beforehand. After Donald Trump's fake assassination attempts, who was blamed for it? Well, the Republicans blamed the Democrats and the deep state, right? And we see more and more hatred towards them ever since then more than we at least saw before that time period, right? Now imagine if they do one against a specific country, a specific group, jihadists. And then Trump turns the page and says, we're going to level them and we're going to take their land and we're going to continue with the greater Israel plan, because that's likely to happen. So President Trump, in this article, says calling for the takeover and development of the Gaza Strip has handed jihadist terrorist groups a rallying cry to recruit and inspire attacks against Americans at home and abroad, security experts and former intelligence officials say. Trump's comments this week, proposing that the U.S. would control the Palestinian enclave while its residents would be forced to relocate abroad, have caused shock and outrage around the world, and terrorists will pounce on that anger to attract more support and organize attacks. Quote, I think every CIA station chief in the Middle East woke up this morning with a migraine headache because there's a potential for a generational counterterrorism nightmare here. These are triggering mechanisms for Islamic extremist groups. This kind of language only is going to galvanize groups that want to kill Americans. So you have both of those narratives going into the Super Bowl. You have Donald Trump attending as the first president to ever attend a Super Bowl. We've seen fake multiple assassination attempts on his life, and he's still going to the Super Bowl, right? Because he's so brave. He's obviously going because he's in on it, and he knows that nothing will actually happen to him unless, of course, they decide to fully fake his assassination and carry through with it, which obviously they're not going to do at this moment in time because he serves way too much of a role in bringing in the AI infrastructure without anybody noticing that he's bringing in the AI infrastructure of AI governance for the globalists, right? So we have that, and we have the jihadist narrative, right? He deliberately must have done that this week, right? I showed you the articles of Netanyahu talking last year about the plan for the Gaza Strip. Netanyahu shows up. They talk about it a few days before the Super Bowl, how we are going to take over and give Gaza to the Americans, to the United States of America, right? So now they've got the seeds planted of a potential terror attack. So when they do one, you'll believe that it was a terror group because Trump did that as opposed to your own government doing it. Now, I want to show you the predictive programming again, because I've used these clips before, but now there's other things floating around that you have to see. So for anybody that doesn't know predictive programming, they program us through movies, through television shows, to accept things, right? Think about how we actually have accepted this narrative that there's aliens living in space without any actual evidence other than the government acting like, ooh, we're hiding stuff from you. Ooh, did you hear that there was an alien ship? What? Oh, no, we don't want you to see that. Pretending, of course, baiting people in by hiding these things from you, which makes people think more and more that it's actually real. But people have been programmed through, look at all the movies, right, about aliens. Arrival, Alien, E.T., right? Independence Day, MIB, The Men in Black, even comedies like Coneheads, District 9. There's an alien movie that comes out every month. That's by design. That's how they've convinced you that there could be aliens that actually exist. Now, I'm not saying that demons aren't real, because, of course, we could all look at Aleister Crowley and Grey, the Grey Aliens, which is based off of Lam, which is a demonic entity summoned by Aleister Crowley. But this is as what they're actually trying to normalize. But this is how it works, right? So they show us all these movies. Nobody gets suspicious as to why there's so many movies about this topic. Then all of a sudden, when the government starts telling you aliens are real, you believe it, because you've seen all these movies about it over and over and over again. They've conditioned you, right? Same thing with the weather movies. All these movies about weather phenomenons, right? Movies like Geostorm, Into the Storm, Deep Impact, right? 2012. Even movies like Armageddon with asteroids, San Andreas, right? What's the purpose of this? So the purpose of this is that all these movies, the common theme in movies like The Day After Tomorrow, is that these are natural events, right? So in your mind, it would make it very difficult to convince you that the government has the ability to control the weather. You've seen all these movies about, oh my gosh, this is why it's happening, that's why it's happening, right? Climate change and all these other things that they tell you are the reasons. Twisters, right? Film after film after film that depicts unbelievable natural disasters occurring. Now we have a lot of unbelievable natural disasters occurring, and nobody is looking towards the government and the weapons that they have. Weaponized weather, controlling the weather by 2025, right? The other thing, of course, is the outbreak. How many movies about outbreaks have we seen over the years? From Outbreak to Contagion to Containment, right? All these movies about an outbreak, quarantining, then we get one. How convenient, right? World War Z, zombie apocalypses. And of course, now the conditioning to accept this technology. How many movies about all this tech and how dangerous this tech is, right? From Terminator, I mean, maybe more than anything else, these movies that are about artificial intelligence and robots. And now what are we doing? We're allowing it and accepting it. So it brings me to these movies. The Sum of All Fears is one of them. Because in that film, the plot involves a nuclear weapon being detonated at the Super Bowl. And who's in attendance at the Super Bowl? Well, the President of the United States. And does it get detonated? It does get detonated, as you'll see in this clip. And the other ones are movies like Black Sunday. It Could Be Tomorrow. What's the plot of Black Sunday? Well, blimp pilot Michael Lander, who has endured the horrors of the Vietnam War, is now psychotic, hoping to kill himself in grand fashion. He teams with Palestinian terrorists. Palestinian terrorists. Should I repeat that? What's going on over in the Middle East? Oh, we're going to take Gaza? Gotcha. Palestinian terrorist Dahlia, who plans on using Lander to set off a bomb at the Super Bowl by crashing his aircraft into the crowd stands with thousands of lives at stake. Israeli military agent, there you go. You got Palestinian, you got Israel. Israeli military agent Kabakov teams with the FBI in an attempt to stop Lander's mass murder suicide. And what did we get on February 7th? All right, what did we get a day ago? We got Elon Musk tweeting this out. Pretty interesting, right? Current state of the Democratic Party. What is that? Oh, it's a blimp on fire, right? Very interesting, right? We're upon the Super Bowl. This is 2 days before the Super Bowl that he tweets this out. And he just randomly is retweeting a picture of the Hindenburg. I'm sure that's just a coincidence too, right? And everybody out there will defend him because they'll say, well, he's making a comparison of the fall of the Democratic Party, how it's like the Hindenburg crashing, right? Well, if you look at a lot of these films, I mean, a lot of comparisons you can make between Black Sunday and that post, and there's also movies like 2 Minute Morning. 91,000 people, 33 exit gates, 1 sniper. So let me show you the clips of the predictive programming again of a false flag event occurring at the Super Bowl.
The National Football League welcomes you to Miami's Orange Bowl in the championship of professional football.
What exactly is this Super Bowl?
Are you out of your mind?
Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire. And Tom, you can feel the pressure building up all week. So here we go. Super Bowl is underway. By God, here it comes.
Corley to stadium, Corley to stadium.
Signal red alert. Get the president out of the stadium. Shoot the thing down!
You can't shoot it down. It's filled with helium.
We are going to kill the pilot. If anything happens to me, you use this on the backup fuse.
It's going right into the stadium.
Black Sunday. It could be tomorrow.
Championship Sunday. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Inside the stadium. 91,000 cheering fans. 33 exit gates. Somewhere in the stadium, an assassin waits.
Pad off it, Gary. Pad off it quick. Don't go back to that shot unless I tell you. Understand? Just stay off it. Move!
Who will his target be? 91,000 lives that will never be the same.
Why do you take such pleasure in telling people we're not married?
There's this guy. He's gonna kill me.
Still nervous? That's right. We're still gonna wait, too. Just don't get itchy.
What exactly did you see?
I told you. A man with a rifle.
You get your men into place ready to move, but it's no go till we get all the VIPs out. The VIPs. The probable targets.
SWAT 6 to all SWAT units. The suspect is up, armed, and at the north end of the parapet.
We're coming up in the 2-minute warning. You ought to have your people in place by then. When the 2-minute whistle blows, it's your ball game.
He's up!
2-minute warning. After that, sudden death. This is the motion picture you have heard about. This is the motion picture you have read about. Soon, you will be talking about the motion picture shock of the year. 2-minute warning.
Sir! Yeah, Cabot. It's Ryan! The bomb is in play! Now it's Baltimore! Let's go! Let's go!
Some Russian scientists have been working on a bomb. Nuclear. It arrived in Baltimore this morning. It's those people out of the stadium.
The trap, pull everyone out. Bain has been pouring concrete laced with explosives.
Where?
Let the games begin.
So there you have it. You see some of it in these movies. What do you think? That somebody was just like, hey, we should do a movie. Okay, let's think. What could we come up with? Well, how about a bomb at a Super Bowl? Well, it's been done before, right? I mean, I make that comparison because put yourself in those shoes. If you were really trying to be a writer in Hollywood, right? And you were writing out a scenario, wouldn't you say, well, it's already been done before. It's been done in a movie. It's like writing a movie about a boxer who goes the distance with the world champion, a boxer who is down on his luck, is a bum on the streets who gets a chance to fight the world champion and goes the distance. That's the plot of Rocky, right? If I wrote something like that today and I said, hey, there's a boxer, he's working at McDonald's and he's down on his luck. And suddenly through the drive-thru, the boxing world champion comes through and he says, I'll give you a shot at the... You'd say, well, first of all, it's horrible. Second of all, they've already done it. It's Rocky, right? That's what people would say with all these alien movies, wouldn't they? That's what somebody would say with common sense, but nobody has any. That's what somebody would say with all these movies about outbreaks. They'd be like, I don't want to make a movie about it, but Outbreak has been done already. I'll come up with something new, right? I don't want to make a movie about AI and robots. It's been done 1,000,000 times. Everyone's going to compare it to Terminator. Oh, let's make 1,000 more of them, right? And then we'll make 1,000 more Terminator movies too, right? Somebody would sit there and say, a bomb at the Super Bowl is cliche. How many times do we need to have a bomb or a terrorist attack at a Super Bowl, right? I mean, can we come up with something else? That's what somebody would say, because this is programming. This is preparation. So again, I'm not saying it's going to happen this week at this Super Bowl, but they've been preparing for an event to occur at a Super Bowl. Why? Because the Super Bowl is the most watched event in the United States. 1/3 of the population tunes into the Super Bowl. What better place to carry out a false flag, to condition people into whatever narrative they want to attach to that false flag, whether it's to bring us into a war, right? Blame it on Russia like the plot and Sum of All Fears, or blame it on jihadists to get people riled up and angry. Because when they see it with their eyes and they're told that they're watching reality, and then they're told that that's what's occurred, it makes them want really what the government wants them to want, which is either a war with somebody or sympathy towards someone, right? You'll have 1/3 of the population tuning in. So it really makes sense at some point, not just with the conditioning of the commercials and how they socially engineer people into accepting this tech and going along with this agenda, getting an electric vehicle. They know that everybody's eyeballs are on this event. So it makes perfect sense for them to carry out a false flag at some point in time. And they've shown us that there probably will be. Otherwise, they wouldn't continually show it. And that's just a few movie clips. There's definitely other movies that have a similar plot to it, right? I mean, if I was going to make you predict the program of every Alien movie, I would have a 70 million hour video showing you every single movie or TV show that talked about an alien invasion. There's definitely TV shows that have Super Bowl themes of an event occurring at a Super Bowl. Obviously, we know there's lots of movies with the narrative of an assassination against a president, which I covered back during the fake assassination, and those videos are available on the website because, of course, those got scrubbed. And what did we see, right? We even saw a Civil War movie come out. We saw a Captain America movie come out with the same exact plot at the same exact time, let alone all the other movies that have talked about failed assassination attempts. About the president, of course, who's behind it? Well, it's the shadow government who's trying to take the president out. And that's the narrative that our society ran with. That's what Republicans and conservatives actually believe. So Donald Trump will be in attendance at the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that they're actually going to carry out the event. I'm saying pay attention to it. Because anyone with common sense would say, hey, you know what? Well, the president probably shouldn't go since all these events and all these things have happened around him in the last 6 months or so. But of course, everybody out there will turn a blind eye and they'll say that's because he's tough. He's not afraid of anything. And he's going to show up there. Well, of course, but a person who actually thought that people were trying to kill him probably wouldn't go to the Super Bowl. But Donald Trump obviously knows that nobody's trying to kill him. He's probably the most protected man in the history of mankind because what he's carrying out now is literally everything we've discussed over the last decades, centuries of a new world order. Right? You go back to all of the people who have been warning, going back to Pawns in the Game, right? William Guy Carr's book, Pawns in the Game, talking about the New World Order and how it's in place and how they bring it about. And now you're seeing it all coming right now with the one person they think is actually opposed to it. That's what's crazy about it. Everybody out there thinks that he's completely opposed to a globalist New World Order because he says stuff like, we don't want foreigners in our country and we don't want to support the World Economic Forum, even though I'll go there and I'll meet with them and I'll talk to them like they're my best friends and tell you that my best friends are in the room. All it takes is a few words like that. And then, of course, telling you at the same time that men can't play women's sports and everyone's on board. They go, he's against them. He can't be on board with them. Why brings in AI governance, which is exactly what the New World Order is built on. It's built on the shoulders of artificial intelligence governance. It's the control grid. So pay attention to what's out there. Very bizarre that Elon Musk, of course, would post a picture of a blimp burning 2 days before the Super Bowl. For anybody out there, I mean, I know the majority of people haven't heard of Black Sunday who are in their teens now or their 20s, but Black Sunday, it could be tomorrow. Certainly could be tomorrow, could be today, could be at any time. But just remember, all these events are staged and planned beforehand. And when you're watching these events, they know you're watching it thinking that it's real. So it's very easy to manipulate you if you're watching something like the news or a football game thinking you're getting a view at reality, and then they manipulate your perception of reality. That's exactly what they do. That's how we have people living in a simulation around us who laugh off the notion of being in a simulation because they can't grasp what it even means. You're living in the Matrix, folks. Time to wake up if you haven't yet. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families, as always.